Welcome back everyone to our glorious Draconian Empire here in Civilization 5, and as you can see, a lot of things have changed, especially in regards to the minimap that is much more detailed now. So what happened was we actually just discovered the banking, I guess, technology. So now we have discovered the entire tech tree except for mentoring, but obviously mentoring doesn't really add anything at all. It basically just is repetitive, you know, just gives points, as it says, yeah, repeating technology that will increase your score, something I don't care about. So we discovered everything we can. We can now actually build the Iron Throne. I think that's something we could probably start doing. But let's first discover everything. So as you can see, we've just discovered tons of ruins that I'm not going to really have a look at because they're probably just all over the place in places that we're not really going to get to anytime soon anyways. I've been going forward for 7 turns, and the reason behind this is very simple. I went forward for 1 turn just because I wanted to give the the units the proper names, because you guys came up with some more suggestions, and also you came up with special names for units that I already named. Like Matt Cooper, for example, wanted to be named the Sundancers, or his unit wanted to be named the Sundancers, and other people as well. So I tried to do that in preparation. Because if you just have a look, let's lose Sunblade, who's currently in Flaming Peak. If I want to send him over to a place where, you know, perhaps he could fight some White Walkers, it would take him 8 turns. Or if we were to, I don't know, if we were to send him over to maybe Rain Peak, it would take him 15 turns just to get here. And then, you know, we would, only then we would be able to fight and you know, do anything with him really, and perhaps then we could upgrade him and name him again. And I just wanted to get this, this kind of boring task out of the way without recording it, kind of. But it didn't really work out that well because things are just taking ages. I have automated most of my workers, at least I tried, but still things just take so long, which is actually one of the few things I don't really like about this. Now, I'm gonna be honest here without talking too much. This will be the last episode of this series, and it has several reasons. The biggest reason is probably that we just discovered the entire world. Now, why? That kind of sounds weird. I always wanted to discover the world. That's true, but part of this game, or I think the most appealing part of this game, Civilization, and this series for me was to, discover the world, give the world, or give the places names, you know, with you guys together. I love your suggestions. Like, I think that's so cool. We have the Seaward Passage, we have the Eastern Shield, and it's not really that eastern, it's actually in the western part of our continent, but we still named it like that. I just like this. It really feels like I'm an actual explorer or something like this, and we actually landed in this continent and discovered the world and gave names to it. I love that so much. And now that everything is already discovered, like for example, have a look at this huge continent. We're gonna have a little bit of a look at this later on as well, but just a quick look. Have a look at this. There are so many things. There's a huge mountain range here. This area, like, there's so much stuff we would have to name, so many more continents and islands and everything. I wouldn't know where to start. And as I said, this was like kind of the part of the game that made the most fun, or made it most enjoyable for me. And now that it's kind of been taken away from me, I don't really want to continue the series. The second part, obviously, as I said, things just take ages now. The turns are just going on forever with not really much happening that, you know, is interesting, right? So I was thinking about going to war with the Erie, but it would take, I don't know, at least another 50 turns, probably, really 50 turns, until we would actually have a sizable army over here on this continent, and then the war would have to start. We would have to fight at least through Iron Oaks, Heartsholme, Coldwater Burn, or if we go straight to the Erie, I guess we could kind of shorten this, but basically it would take a long time before we, you know, really could see any progress here, and I don't know. I think it would take another 100 turns just to get this war started and maybe even over with. And really, that just seems too long for me, with nothing else necessarily happening. Nothing, we have, before that it was fine because we always had things to explore. We always found out about new things, but that, as I said, is no longer the case. So again, I don't want to repeat myself. I know I always do that. I apologize for that, but I think you've gotten the idea. I think you understood my problem. Also, one thing that probably is not as important, but still it kind of bothers me, is you can see my computer is having a big problem handling this huge map now that it's all been discovered. That was something I didn't really think about when I started this series. I probably should have done that. But so I lowered the graphics settings, but it's still taking ages to render everything. So that's also a reason why I don't want to continue anymore, because it's just not as nice anymore. It kind of breaks the immersion when I'm constantly reminded that this is, well, that needs to render. I don't know. Also, obviously, as I said, it kind of bothers me that we don't really have any technology to progress. So a lot of things have hit their limit, and now I would just have to continue the series for the sake of it, which is something I don't want to do. So again, let's stop that. Enough of this. It's the last episode. Let's make the best of it. Let's have a look at the map. So things that we had discovered before, obviously we have Hothus here. There's nothing new about this. We've discovered this. Then we have Sovros here. Nothing new happened. Just one real quick thing. We obviously managed to convert King's Landing, which I guess is kind of a little victory here, because King's Landing obviously like the capital. So we convert them to the Dragon Cult, and then our prophet got killed over here, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so that's a continent, and we have obviously Ergaroth over here. Nothing new here. We found some wine, so we did actually discover this ruin here. But again, we're the only nation that is really over here, settling here. Then we have a little island over here together. Well, not together, but this is just Karth, just inherited by Karth. Then we have a couple of cities, I guess, here in the south. This huge mountain range that I talked about earlier. Then this very interesting peninsula, actually. I discovered this part with the Titanic. I drove down all the way here, and then I drove back, and then, only then, the North actually, founded the city, which is interesting, because if they would have done it a little bit earlier, I might have actually been trapped here, which I guess wouldn't really be that difficult to get out of. I could have just getting open borders, but still, I'm glad I made it out before that. But yeah, so we have the north in the south, which is odd enough. Then we have Riverrun, and, well, the Riverlands over here. Stonehenge, Seaguard, Riverrun. Raventree Hall has been taken over by the Lannisters. We obviously have the Wildlings here, and interestingly enough, there's a huge mountain range. If you look at this, this is a huge mountain range that goes on all the way up to here, which is actually where we were able to go to pass the mountain range with our scout Matthew Storm to discover a couple of these lands. Then we have the Iron Island lands here. They've lost Lordsport, but they still have Pike and 10 Towers. And then, with the exception for this little pass right here, the mountain range continues all the way over here, and then kind of also cuts off Vilnius and Old Town, which I think is really interesting. Again, I love this map, and I'm happy I've chosen this map. I probably should have just went for a medium-sized map instead of the huge map, but that's just the way it is with me. I always want to try and get the most people in the hugest or the biggest map, I guess. Anyways, so that's really cool. Then obviously here in the north we discovered a little bit of this. The Vale is really huge. They have so many city-state control. I think like they also must have fought a lot of wars with the north. Like they have Moat Cailin over here. They have Hornwood, which also seems like a northern city. Molestown. I mean, it's a little bit odd because this one only has one population. So I feel like this Molestown could be a city in the Vale, but Molestown to me, I think about the city that's in the north, like part of the Night's Watch. There we go. So if anything, this would be in the north. So maybe that's also been taken over. Hesh seems like something the Dothraki would build, and Maidenpool obviously is Riverlander. So the Vale really has been in a lot of wars and has been very successful so far. So they are definitely, I definitely was right about that they are our rival, I guess, the closest nation in terms of strength, I guess. And then obviously we currently have the Stormlands over here. Stormlands being besieged, almost taken over. I wonder who actually is fighting the Stormlands right now. We could have a look, but hopefully I'll remember that for the end of the episode, but I don't want to look at it just yet. Definitely the Lannisters are fighting them, because they have taken Evenfall Hall from them. But the Lannisters also, the Westermen, I guess they also lost the Crag to the Dothraki, which we can see over here on the new continent. So they have their own continent, which is kind of cool. They have one city-state here, and then only Dothraki, except for this one, I guess, Dornish colony over here. And then, excuse me, we have a smaller island in the north with Tyrosh, and we have another smaller island over here that obviously you've already seen, where we discovered Bravos. Now, parts of this I actually discovered with the Arbor Red, so I discovered Bravos, but at that time Maidenpool was not yet founded, and I think it's a really odd place to put a city so close to Bravos. But anyways, you know, let the AI do their things. And last but not least, we have this continent where we have already, I guess, founded one of our colonies, Martin's Landing. We have Stannis over here with his 3 cities, and then we have these 3 sovereignties, I guess, and then the Dornish Heartland, with really only Sunspear looking interesting. The rest seems like so underdeveloped, although I guess maybe that's just because I didn't check it out myself. Maybe, I'm pretty sure actually that they have developed their land around these cities as well. But yeah, so that's basically it for the map. I don't think I've missed anything. No, that's pretty much it. So as you can see, we have this huge continent. That's the biggest of them all. That's also where most of the civilizations are. Then we have, I guess, Hothas is the second biggest in the world and only inhabited by us and our allies. Then this one with Dorne and Dragonstone is probably the 3rd biggest. Then we have the Dothraki one, and then we only have islands. I guess the other, I think we have like 1, 2, 3. Maybe this is the 4th continent. Although it's very small, I would still say, since there's a civilization here, I would still say this is a continent. So we have 4 continents, and then the rest are islands, which is kind of cool. But yeah, initially, if you remember, I actually thought that this continent where we put our colony over here, that this and this would be on the same continent, which is obviously not the case, but it would have been also quite funny. Now, as you can see, I've also given this city a name, Rain Peak, and this city right here is known as Lowellston. Honestly, there was only one suggestion, so that was not really difficult for me to pick it. And I like the suggestion, but also that's another part that you guys are not really as excited about giving suggestions anymore, so that also shows me that maybe the series should come to an end. But again, so I think that was enough for the map. Let's have just a little bit of a look at, well, I guess the info attic, because there's some really interesting things we can learn about this. Now, you just have to remember, we obviously House Targaryen if we look at anything. So population, we win, no surprise. The Vale's the 2nd, reach is the least. Crop yield, yep. I think I'm just gonna go through this, and there's not really anything I need to comment. If there's something I need to comment, then I will. You can just have a look. The Vale's always 2nd place. You know, there's not really, although they're actually quite close in land area. They have quite a lot of land, interesting. But I did mention that in an earlier video. Now, military manpower, that, yep, we actually beat the Vale by quite a large margin, and they're not that far ahead the north. That is actually interesting, but it could be because the Vale has been in several wars, I don't know. Interestingly enough, the Reach actually has almost 9,000 men, which is cool considering their population is 0. But yeah. Approval, don't really know what that means. Literacy, I always thought this is technologies, but since there's technologies separately, I don't know what that means. Social standing is probably policies, although yeah, probably policies then, I guess. I don't know. What else do we have? Happiness, we're the happiest world. Although those I guess every nation is kind of happy. Technologies, we have most of the technologies discovered. The only one we're missing, as I said, is mentoring. Not really that important. We have the most gold. Wow, look at that. The North is running a huge deficit. Holy balls. Jesus, that's a lot. And the Vale's actually making quite some bank, but we're obviously making so much more money. As for cities, we only have one more city than the Vale, so they're really hard on our trail, but we just have so many more troops. So we probably would have beaten them in a war, but again, this would have at least taken, I would say, the war, just close it for a second, the war of the Vale would have taken at least another 50 turns, I'm being serious here, another 50 turns before we would actually have a sizable army amassed over here. Another 50 turns, and then it would take us probably another 50 turns to really fight them. You know, we would have to go through Iron Oaks, Heart's Home, actually, Heart's Home? Actually, yeah, that's House Corbury's seat. Coldwater Burn, Goldtown, and then the Erie, or we could go by water, but that obviously would take even longer to get all of our troops there, and we wouldn't really have a foothold. So, this war would just drag on forever, and we would have no new technologies to discover, we would have no new lands to discover, so I don't like that much. Let's go back and finish off these statistics here. So yeah, we just checked that the cities, science, yeah, nothing really interesting there. Culture, actually the Vale's very close in terms of culture output, but I guess we really never focused on it. Wonders, we've built 8 wonders. The Vale has, you know, a second place, obviously, not really surprising with 5 wonders. We're gonna have a look at that. Treasury, yeah, we have the most gold. Total faith, we also have the most. Faith gain, yep. Influence, yeah, we didn't really get there. Great works. Oh, the Vale actually has 1 great work. Interesting. And tourism doesn't exist, but still the Vale has some. Yeah, so I guess we can go over overview here again. Yeah, we're rank 1 everywhere except in social policies. I guess the Vale beats us there. Yeah, and they're rank 2. Okay, well, there's that. So you know, what's this? Head of state? Oh. Lord Chief Gironca of Gironca's host is the head of state. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I don't want to go over this for every nation. We know that the Vale basically won. But let's have a look at the global relations. So we are currently trading. We are trading. No, we have a declaration of friendship with House Dragon. Yeah. So we even have open borders. Obviously, you knew that because I wanted to discover over here. At least I think so. I wanted to discover over here, so we have open borders, we are trading with the Vale, simply because, as I said, it would take ages before we could actually start a war, and by then, well, I guess the deal would have already, well, been over, I guess, or timed out, in a way. But yeah, let's look at this one more time. Yeah, okay, I guess we're gonna look here. And I wanted to have a look at, where's the Stormlands? The Storms are not even on here. That is so odd. Why? I wanted to see who the Stormlands are at war with. Neither are the Westerlands. Perhaps because I just discovered them today? I don't know. Perhaps I just discovered them today. That's why they're not showing on here. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Well, maybe I should go forward 1 turn, but that would take a while. I don't know. Let's just click on the diplomacy here. I think we can check it out this way. Yeah. There's a weird graphic bug going on now. That's too bad. Okay, so it seems as though we do not know about the Stormlands. I kind of would like to know who would take it over. So maybe we're going to move on 1 more turn, guys. But I'm just going to show you how long a turn actually takes. So, yes, I don't care about Old Town. Let's quickly build something over here. And gee, yeah, that graphic is not gonna work. You know what? I don't care. Build a lighthouse. Whatever. One thing we can probably start building. We can start the construction of the Iron Throne in Dragon Hall, right? Yeah, it's gonna take 14 turns, but that's fine. Choose a production. You know what? Build a Great Pyramid. That's fine. We have a ship here. Yeah, I was actually also discovering with the needlefish here, but now we don't really need this, so I guess we can send them up north to get ready for the war that I'll never declare. Okay, these guys you can land. Oh, what are those guys? Red fiery hand. Oh, those are probably, look at this. Red fiery hand, and then we have the invulnerables. 2 special units. But ours are cooler, I think. They also have spearmen. Okay, some more. The red giants. Okay, so they actually made it in. And then there's Matt Cooper right there. I guess I was just sending them here to protect against White Walkers. Don't really know. Matthew Storm, you're kind of useless now because everything has been discovered already. So I don't need you. The Peters, you're gonna move forward as well. You can just, I guess, come back. Or just heal up here, whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, also I was discovering here with the Titanic, but that is kind of, well, not that important anymore either. So let's just go back home. It only takes 17 turns, Jesus Christ. You can also come back. Probably want you back, yeah, maybe here. 14 turns, alright. Our catapults, actually, have landed. Okay, well, we could make them into a trebuchet at some point, but, again, what's the point? Alright, and this skeed, I was also sending out to discover here in the south, but I'm probably just gonna send you over here to protect the foothill. And is that the next turn? No, the Strowman can discover more things. Someone else? Okay, so we're just gonna go forward this turn. As you can see, it really took like 5 minutes, and nothing really happened. We're not discovering anything else. And now, okay, this graphic bug is actually really bad. So, all the more reason. But I'm basically just doing this so we can have a look at the Stormlands, because I really would like to see what their diplomacy is all about. Wow, yeah, this looks really odd. So let's have a look. We still can't see them. Huh. But they're clearly here. They're clearly here. And, oh, okay, it was... Okay, well, at least this... We now know about what happened. So the Veil actually just took the Stormland. So they're really, really powerful. But it would have been an interesting war, I think. But, again... I think that was it. So, yeah, the Stormlands have just lost their one. They're also being attacked in the south. So I guess they're currently in 2 wars, probably. So odd that I can't check this out. Diplomacy overview. Yeah, I can't seem to... I guess because I haven't technically found them yet. I haven't met... Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I haven't met a unit, so I would have to actually send over a unit here to meet them properly. Right? So now we're gonna meet the Riverlands. Alright, there we are. Okay. I'm Admiral Tully, Lord of Riverrun. Okay. Let me see what can trade. Accept an embassy. Let's do that. I mean, while we're at it, right? Okay. So maybe we can have a close look at Riverrun now. Not really. Special Agent Jeff Jeffson. Okay. Well, okay, guys. So things are not really that good. So I guess we probably won't even be able to discover Renly in the Stormlands, because they would probably get destroyed before we even arrive there. I guess we could send Matthew over and try and discover them. But yeah, whatever. I think that was it. As I said, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna make this short because I felt like I'm just rambling on now. I hope you have enjoyed the series. It's been a lot of fun for me. Again, as I said, it's so much fun. Let's have a look at Hothers, where we have all these cool names. I really loved your guys' suggestions. I loved all of your character suggestions as well. It's been so much fun, and I'm thinking about doing this again next time with either a different mod that kind of doesn't end the tech tree that early, and I will probably also, well, most definitely use a smaller map just so that, you know, we meet the civilizations earlier, maybe a war can break out earlier, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, as I said, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. It's Chief Gironca, signing off.